Welcome to the intro reveal party for my brand new intro, which ironically is not going to be used as the intro for this video because I kind of want to give people time to kind of come in and see this great intro that the good Austin made me for the first time. So let's see who we have all in the chat. We have the most evil man in the galaxy. Hashtag Obi-Wan gave up. Hashtag I stand with Anakin Skywalker. Hashtag the Sith are the good guys. We have Socks Bulletin. What up to you, Socks? We have El Necron. Good to see you, man. And we have also fresh. 1994. And we have, hold on here, we got Sin Havoc in time. Oh boy, we got, oh my god, this thing is acting funny. Yep, we got Yoda calling me a liar, it looks like. Sorry, Yoda, but the Jedi were evil. The Sith were the good guys, not the Jedi. And oh, we got Retro Nerd Girl. What up, actually? You know what? I'm sending this link out to a bunch of people. And actually, you know what, Retro Nerd? You as well. Check your Twitter DM. Soon. Anyway, not right. Gotta actually get the link out. So I'll be honest, this is very improv. Saw that no one was going live tonight, and I thought this would be a really good time to reveal this great intro I have. So what do you guys think of right now? What's going on with DC with what James Gunn's most recent comments about someone saying they missed Henry Cavill and his reply saying he exists. I'm sorry, but that was probably one of the most insensitive comments I've seen someone give. Someone gave a paying customer, essentially, because that's what the DC fans are. We are the customers. We are the consumers. And the way that some of this James Gunn has been acting hasn't been great. Is that, look, we the fans were told Henry Cavill was coming back. We were told this. Regardless of any semantics behind the scenes, this is what happened. And understandably, fans were upset. Could you imagine if Robert Downey Jr. made an announcement saying, hey, guys, I'm returning as Iron Man. And then 2 months later, Kevin Feige was like, hey, we're going to recast you, so you have to announce that you're not coming back after all. Fans would not be happy. So why should this? Let's see. Let me pull up Sin's comment here. Gunn is a galoot smurf. Colonel Papa Smurf. Okay, I mean, I'm going to take a public stance to not really give him any nicknames on my channel, but people in the comments are allowed to speak their comment section. I will strictly be criticizing his behavior publicly. But look, I'm just going to say this right now to James Gunn if you're watching. Look, you can do your own thing. Okay, you have a vision, you want to follow it, and you know what? I respect that. But try to have some empathy. Try to have some compassion for people who are upset that they're not getting an actor that they were told was returning to return. show just show a little empathy. That's all I'm saying. And Twitter is not working right now. Let's see. We got Sin Havoc saying he failed upwards. Yep. That's exactly what happened. He failed up. That's exactly what happened. He's failing upwards. Is that, he directed a film, a DC film that just didn't do well. Don't give me the COVID excuse. Other films did better. Don't give me the day and date release excuse. Halloween Kills did well. And let's see, we have Music City Soul in the chat. Hold on, I'm just sending the link out to people. So, but yeah, that's basically just my issue I have with James Gunn right now is that just show some empathy. Just show a little empathy. That's all we're asking for. But we have some pretty exciting things coming up. Full Circle, SnyderCon, last weekend of April. Are you guys expecting anything big to happen? Me personally, I'm mostly expecting that that Zack Snyder is going to show the Emerald Cut, the scene with Green Lantern, and hopefully with Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter at the end. I think, it will be something different, and really some great stuff happening with that. And I'm hoping that this Emerald Cut will have that alternate scene, that alternate dialogue with Batman and the Joker, where he's like, we live in a society. I'm hoping that will also be included. But I don't think we'll get a Snyderverse restoration announcement. I think all that's happening is that we're going to kind of get... Basically, I hate to say this because Grace Randolph kind of ruined this word for me, but I think that SnyderCon will be kind of a negotiating tactic. This will kind of show Netflix the demand for the Snyderverse and showing the profitability of the Snyderverse. So I think that's mainly what SnyderCon is going to be. Got Sin Havoc saying announcement possibly, and Justice League Emerald Cut Edition. I really hope we get I would love the ZSJL2 announcement. Oh God, I would really love this announcement. But I don't know. I feel it's too soon. I think, we still have a lot of more hashtagging and trending to do, but we'll see. We'll see. I would love, because here's the thing with me personally. I don't want the Snyderverse to continue forever. I don't. I just want to see the proper conclusion to the story that we all love. Just an ending, a proper ending, which Zack Snyder has. With Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, Zack Snyder's Justice League 3. Just a conclusion. A conclusion to the story that we all love. Then we can move on. It would be like the Dark Knight trilogy. I was able to move on from that pretty easily because it was an ending. It was an ending that I was satisfied with. And I was excited for a new Batman who was at the time not my favorite Batman. At the time The Dark Knight came out, Christian Bale was my favorite Batman. So seeing a new one possibly replacing my favorite Batman, I was open to because at least Christian Bale finished his story. Let's see. Retro Nerd Girl says, I just want to see Zack enjoying himself at the event. No expectations. Yeah, and that's fair because, for one, he's showing movies. I hate to use this word, but for now it's a trilogy. He's showing his trilogy in theaters. Man of Steel in theaters again. First time I think that Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition was in theaters. Was there some limited event where the Ultimate Edition was in theaters? Comment in the comment section. Let me know. And Retro Nerd Girl should be in your DM now. And we got the good Austin in the chat. What up, man? Haven't played the intro yet because even though it's an intro, I'm giving people some time to kind of come in the chat so they can actually see this for the first time. And check your DM. We got Sin Havoc. Oh, saying hi to the good Austin. And we got Retro Nerd Girl saying hi to the good Austin. But yeah, so the first time that we've seen BVS Ultimate Edition in theaters. And Zack Snyder's Justice League, even if it's not the Emerald cut, even though I'm pretty confident it is, I still think that just having it in theaters for the first time is pretty big. The only thing I hope, though, is that, I don't know if people remember this, but Zack Snyder said he had an intermission made for the theatrical version so that people could get up and use the bathroom because it's a 4-hour movie. And I'm going to be honest, I've never sat through the Snyder Cut straight through without pausing it. I've always had to pause it at least once because I have to use the bathroom once in a while. So. El Necron saying what's up to the good Austin. And yeah, I wasn't sure if there was like some limited theatrical event. I know it wasn't like the main theatrical version, but I didn't know if there was like some limited events, some Fathom events. So, I mean, again, that's another pretty big deal too, is the true version of Batman v Superman in theaters for the first time. Oh, right. Happy Easter. I hope everyone had for those who celebrate, I hope you had a great Easter today. Hope you got anyone get anything in the Easter basket today? Yeah, I know. I figure we're all too old for that. This happens every time. You don't get it. Oh, yeah. So that was actually a church service that we were playing at, is that they wanted a brass quintet to play at their Easter service. And it was good. You know, I think we did pretty well. And it was so funny. I actually got paid to go to church this morning, basically. You know, normally you show up to church and you pay money, and I actually got paid to go to church. Okay, so, okay. And we'll play the intro when we get a few other people joining the stream. I got to get some live reactions to the stream. So if you're in the ARC chats, check the DM. And if you're not, check your Twitter. Because got to get some live reactions. I mean, this stream was amazing. This intro was really amazing that Austin did. Like, great work, Austin. Great work. And just had to really just do something big to kind of just really reveal this for the first time. But I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, so I don't think there's going to be anything really huge for SnyderCon. I think we'll just kind of get. I think we'll still get the Emerald cut, and I think we'll get I think we'll kind of use that as kind of a negotiating tactic to for the Cell movement, for Cell's Shale to Netflix, sell Snyderverse to Netflix. So I'm excited for SnyderCon. Even though I couldn't go because I will just be getting back from Florida actually, but even if I wasn't, that's last minute having to take off work. Can't really do that. My lifestyle doesn't really suit that at the moment, but still, I think this is a great event. I'm happy that Sil Abdul's get going. Glad Sil got a ticket. He's someone who, if there's only one person in Sil Nation who could go, I would say Sil. But yeah, I think we'll get some really great stuff with that. And so I'm curious, for those of you in the chat, let's just say this. Let's say that Netflix made this deal to buy the Snyderverse, whatever semantical word you prefer to use for that. And let's say, they got Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman 2017, the Ayer cut, the Emerald cuts, and the last two Justice League movies, and one more project. Which would you pick? And actually, you know what? We got someone in the chat tonight. First time on the show.
Thanks. Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, no problem. I'm really excited. You're someone who I really want to see a live reaction to this stream.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you. I was really excited about this because I was like, okay, I want to see this intro.
Yeah. So, I guess I know you kind of commented in the chat, but go on. Like, what are your thoughts on what you think that, like, SnyderCon will be? Like, what do you think is going to happen at SnyderCon?
Yeah, I don't have any expectations after like the last 2 years what we've been through. I'm just like I'm kind of numb to it all. So I'm going in there just like whatever Zach wants to do, I'm okay with. I hope that he does have an Emerald Cut, but I don't think there's gonna be showing. We won't be able to see it if they did show the Emerald Cut, but the audience that he is entertaining will most likely do so. And I'm expecting it to be sort of set up like how they had that beautiful Vero reveal of the Snyder Cut. What 2-3 years ago, where it was like 2019, where he revealed that we were going to get the Snyder Cut, and so I'm hoping that his announcement will be on that level, on that par, that maybe he has some good news for us fans. But if not, I'll be okay. I've come to terms with like whatever Zach wants to do, I'm okay with it. So I'm hoping he will reveal something cool as his big announcement.
Yeah, I'm kind of on that same fence too, as that he'll reveal something cool. But something I thought of too. Remember the BVS watch party where he hinted at the Snyder Cut and then he mysteriously got cut off?
On the BVS one?
Yeah, he did a BVS watch party because like the watch party for the Man of Steel is when he revealed the Snyder Cut, but he did a BVS watch party that same year, and he was hinting at a sequel, and the stream abruptly ended.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened.
Oh, I hope not, but yeah, that could happen. That could happen. I really hope he does get a chance to tell us something good. I've got my fingers crossed. I really do. And also, hi to everybody out in the chat. And hi, good Austin. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I love little things like this where creators get to like surprise us, kind of like what you're doing tonight with this big reveal. I like when we get for for being fans and being on the sidelines watching, like get to see a little bit of the of the inside and directly from the creator. So what I'm hoping to is that he's going to talk more because I notice when Zach talks more, he reveals a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes. And anything that he can tell us about Rebel Moon will be just be amazing. So I'm excited for everything and anything that's possible. So I have my fingers crossed, and I hope that he will mention, further plans for the Justice League, of course. And if not, I hope he'll at least can give the fans a little hope that the in the future anything's possible.
Yeah, and and really anything is possible. I've had much more unexpected things in my life happen than getting sequels to a movie that everyone
Me
loved.
too. Me too.
So
Yeah.
I actually got a little sidetracked with a question. So
Mhm.
Sin Havoc brought this up here, and I want to know what you think. So let's say Netflix made an announcement that we're getting the conclusion to the Snyderverse with Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, and one more non-filmed movie. If you could get one more non-filmed movie outside of Zack's arc for the Snyderverse, which would you pick?
Oh man. I That's gonna be hard because it'll be a tie between the Batfleck movie and Man of Steel 2. And I think I don't know, Man of Steel 2 kinda is more desperately needed to complete Henry's situation. His version of Superman, it just felt unfinished. Whereas I think we do get a better idea. We have a good idea of who Bruce is, and how and the Batman, who the Batman is. And I think the way Henry wanted to play him, he never did get that opportunity. So I'd like to see that, but only if it's like something that Zach wanted to do, because I think it's like if whatever Zach wants, give him what he wants, because he's a creative genius and he knows what to do. So yeah, I think it might be Man of Steel too. What about you? You're probably gonna go for the Batfleck movie, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Batfleck movie for one simple reason: the scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League where Lex revealed to Deathstroke that Batman is Bruce Wayne, and I feel like
Yes.
without that Batfleck movie, that scene leads nowhere. So that's the only movie that's directly
Oh,
other than like
yeah.
the Justice League sequels, that's directly teased with a cliffhanger in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, wow. You know what? You just changed my mind.
Oh
You
wow,
just
I wasn't
changed my
intending to do
mind.
that.
Yeah, yeah, you just changed my mind because that is a stronger argument. It is directly connected. And even though Superman is like the like big he's like a great superhero and should be like front and center, I feel like Justice League is more leaning towards a Batman movie because he's got to do so much in that movie. And then just like you said, that ending does set up for a completion. It asks the audience to wait for the rest of it. And so yeah, we should we should definitely get that.
And the most evil man in the galaxy agrees with me on this too.
Yoda.
Yes, the
Oh
leader of the
man.
most corrupt organization in any franchise ever. Did you watch
Oh
Clone
no.
Wars ever?
No, I didn't. I do know quite a bit about it from my research, but I didn't get to watch Clone. You're talking about the series, right?
Yes, the animated
Mhm,
series, the
mhm.
one thing outside the 6 movies that Disney made canon.
Yeah, yeah. I have to watch it. There is a lot of content to watch for Star Wars. So yeah, I've got a long list of things I want to watch. So it'll I do know quite a bit about it though. Hmm.
There's an abbreviated. There's somewhere online. There's an abbreviated list of Clone Wars episodes to watch where you can like skip all the filler episodes that lead
Oh,
nowhere.
okay.
And
I'll have
it's
to
also
have
hard
to find
because
that.
they're not made in order too.
Oh. Okay.
So there is some list out there that has like the non-essential that cuts the non-essential episodes, and
And I could just watch those important episodes.
yeah, but you
Okay, okay.
really see how bad the Jedi are. Like Mace Windu is, if you thought he
Well,
was a dick in the prequel trilogy, he's a bigger dick in Clone Wars.
yeah, yeah, I see your side of the story with the Jedi were, they had some issues. They meant well, but they did conduct themselves in a way that was too restrictive, um, and and definitely did some unscrupulous things. And that's what I'm learning about this whole Star Wars thing. In the first movie or the first three movies, it was really simple. You had good and you had bad, right? And you just thought, well, Jedi good, Empire bad. And when we're learning from a lot of these series and things that they're doing now, is that the so-called good side was just as bad as the as the empire in many cases. And there were many planets that just didn't want to have anything to do with either one, and looked at the Jedi as enemies as well. So it's very fascinating to find out this very simple storyline that happened in the first three movies, original movies, changed into this epic, like, yeah, there are no good sides to this story. So I'm loving it. I'm loving the deep nuances of the galaxy. Oh,
Yeah,
thank
and it
you,
just
Yoda.
yeah, Yoda actually agrees, even though Retro kind of admitted that the Jedi were not all good, sort of. So just saying. Although to be fair, Yoda was actually pretty compassionate, unlike most of the other Jedi. So I will give you that, Yoda. You are definitely like in Clone Wars. He is one of the most compassionate Jedi. Like, do you mind minor Clone Wars spoilers?
Oh, no, 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 no. I know a lot of the story already. That I had to do some research on it. So yes, I don't mind spoilers at all for anything Star Wars.
Okay, so basically, when Ahsoka got framed and Anakin cleared her for blowing up
Hmm.
the Jedi Temple and all that stuff, Yoda was one of the only Jedi to give her a legitimate apology.
Yep, I actually saw that scene.
Yeah, and you see how Mace Windu kind of ruined it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like it
They're
looked like.
and that's basically why she left. She was like, "No, thanks. You guys are you're trash."
Yeah, exactly. Because it looked like Ahsoka was going to consider rejoining the Jedi, and then Mace Windu found a way to make it not their responsibility anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
actually have a
is.
whole video on my channel about why I blame Mace Windu for it all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, why
Well,
Mace
I
Windu was
mean,
at fault.
definitely, when we saw Tales of a Jedi, that little mini series, he was basically talking to him led Count Dooku towards the dark side, and I was like, what?
And the best part is that video was recorded before Tales of the Jedi came out.
Oh, wow, you're ahead of the curve.
Yeah, well, and then when I do my Tales of the Jedi review, I do reference that Mace Windu video because I'm like, wow, my Mace Windu video aged really well. And then finding out that Dooku was the good guy all along too.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he fell to the fell prey to Palpatine, but he had good intentions, and it's really kind of sad because you could see some of that play out in our own world. You know how Mace Windu, the real Sith. Yeah, like it's really wild to see how many people are being pit to be good or evil depending on their, what side of the fence they're on. We're all people. You know, we are both things. We're both flawed and awesome. Oh, hey, the Bat Channel. um, we're everything. We're complex. We're simple. We are good. We can do good things. We can do bad things. But that doesn't mean that we should be expelled and secluded and abandoned because we're all just a little different. Um, like suppose like what if suddenly there was a war between fans like you gotta do you want the Superman movie or the Batfleck movie and it's like you guys still want like similar things. Why is there a war? So it's interesting. Star Wars is definitely um a reflection of our own world in many ways, even though it's a fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and by the way, Trey, check the ARC chat. You're invited to come on the stream as well. But
Oh, yay! I hope
you're
you can
right.
come.
I mean, that you're exactly right, and just it shows how in our life is that essentially it's not all good and evil in this world. Is that we all have different, because you don't always know what's right and what's wrong. And one thing I love about a lot of these shows, it shows how the Empire was able to succeed. Is that a lot of people didn't realize the threat; it was too small at the time, so
Hmm.
people didn't rebel. I mean,
Yeah, I
Palpatine
mean,
managed to convince everyone the Jedi betrayed everyone.
yeah, yeah, and he was extremely skilled. He was on the inside. He knew how it worked, and he had been playing them for a long time. And so I thought it was, you know, his strategy was brilliant uh, as far as how he was able to slide in there, dedicate a lot of his time to it, and people, trusted him by the end. And then he shows up all, damaged, and he's like, "Hey, this is what the Jedi did to me. Look." And he was right. They did do that to him, but he didn't tell them why. And it really became a sort of a reactive thing to go after the Jedi, but they had been given they had been giving the keys away to Palpatine this whole time, and trusting the clones as much as they did. They should know better. Come on. So I think a lot of the oh no that channel.
Yeah, no problem.
um, it was very very sad to see what became of the Jedi, because the council really was sort of like a small history and a larger, more ancient, um, faction, and there were a lot of innocent people that followed them blindly, and gave up their children to participate in this Jedi knighthood. And that's the part that's sort of shocking and horrible, is that there were all these kids that were at such a young age put into uh, training as Jedi knights, and they were, you know, they were pretty much slaves to whatever the Jedi Council came up with, you know.
Yeah, no. Well, it's funny because like in the Obi-Wan series, remember that Obi-Wan mentioned that he kind of remembers having a brother, but doesn't completely
It breaks your heart.
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was really shocked at that. I was like, "What?" That should be a whole storyline right there. I really wanted them to pursue that.
So how do you feel about Obi-Wan not getting a season two? It looked like it was revealed that season two doesn't seem to be happening right now. I think it was McGregor who said that.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but I think a lot of people didn't like it, so they don't care. It's like, oh, fine. But I personally was very curious as to there could have been so many different ways it could have gone about season two, but like every show, there is you have to impress people with that first season. And every season, you can't go soft. And Obi-Wan, unfortunately, and didn't get to the point fast enough. But I love that series. I did. I enjoyed it so much, but I know a lot of people didn't.
And I kind of agree. I agree with everything you said, and I enjoyed the series too. I think my biggest issue is that Ewan McGregor was approaching the point where he should look more like Alec Guinness,
A little
and I
bit.
think, and that's kind of the hard. I kind of wish they did that. Like I don't know. I wish they kind of like dyed his hair or put some makeup on him or something to make him look kind of like a hybrid of the two. So I feel like
Mm,
season two, it would have been too unbelievable at that point if they continued on for too much longer. So
yeah, I
I
hear
kind of
you.
get why they didn't. So you know what? Let's not delay this anymore.
Uh-oh.
Let's get the intro playing and counting down in 3, 2, 1.
She's fading. We gotta go. I'll get my car. I brought mine. Yours.
I gotta get me one of those.
Yay! That was nice. What
All
an
the way through on your end because it cut out for me.
Oh, no, I said it was fantastic. I loved it. Oh my God. Look, it's I think when the Batman starts flying, I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, I just when Austin sent that to me, I watched it over and over again so many times, and I just I was gonna just do a regular stream, just reveal it, just kind of have it revealed. But I'm just like, no, I really kind of wanted to kind of make an event out of this because Austin did such amazing work on that.
Yes,
And
Austin, you did a fantastic job. It's so good. Yeah. And I like the way it
yeah,
ends.
shout
The
out to you,
show starts
Austin. Great.
now.
And just the three Batman on there, the three at this point, only the three Batmen that are mostly liked at this point.
Yes, yes. Yeah, no, I do like the way there's an incorporation of like getting ready to start the show, and then at the end the way it's like the show starts now. It's very nice. And then the last quote was fantastic.
Yeah, just like
Very
all those
nice.
little details that Austin did just really just
Yeah.
work so well. And I love that
Yeah.
the music behind it. Like, oh my God, it's just
Yes, the music was fantastic. It's very cinematic, and I'm loving it. Great job. I love it.
yeah, just again, yeah, great job, Austin. Just really love it. And I think for like my shorter shows, I'm gonna kind of like take a small little clip of that. I'm gonna do like my less than 10-minute videos for like the welcome part of it to have
Mm.
that. Again, lots of great plans, but again, just with this intro, just again a little something to add to the show. Just makes the show a lot more.
Oh
And like
yeah,
that show
no.
actually played as an intro, unlike today where it was just kind of
Yeah, the intro
building
is
them
so
in.
important. Like it sets the tone and everything. And like I love the Austin's intro is like tells a story like this does, and Skywalker's intro, the Bat Channel's intro, um, especially for the Delta streams. It's very you feel like you're a part of it almost. So yeah, when I came up with my intro, I was thinking of Austin. I had Austin in mind. I was like, I gotta make my intro like an adventure, like Austin does. And you know who else has a great intro? The Den of Nerds. Yeah, Den of Nerds. Yeah, he has a great intro to his live streams. And yeah, this kind of cinematic quality that this has is just, it's like a treat before the show. So it's part of the fun, and then I'm sure that when your live stream start, you'll have people typing in the chat saying, I want one of those, that last quote. Because I think it's great, yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
it also is like gets you all a little bit hyped up with the music and everything.
yeah, and that's exactly. I want to kind of create like a fun, a really fun atmosphere. Like when people like see the show, I want them to be excited to watch. Bat Dan's thoughts.
Yeah, very well done. Big claps for you guys. You did a fantastic job.
Yeah, so again, if you're looking for an intro, guys, Austin's a really good person. He has a really good person to hire. Me,
Oh
I'm too
yeah.
lazy to design something like that, so I'm just like, I'm just gonna pay someone to do it for me.
That is awesome. Yeah, Austin's got some great work. He's doing so many amazing things. I am just so happy for his success and just continued like awesome work he produces. So I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see more from him.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, definitely have to know who else is like getting their intros done by Austin. Because I love this. I would love to see all the different ideas that he has. Because he has to like coming up with an idea for a different person. Like for example, like Skywalker's intro, great intro.
Oh,
Wouldn't
that's
necessarily
crazy.
work for my channel though. So it's like it worked, but it's perfect for Skywalker's. Whereas like my intro would be very bad for El Necron, let's say. Just, they're very tailored to the person that is doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to do that. And this definitely speaks of, you have, the the Bat Dan's thoughts, and this is a Batman centric, intro. So I love it so much, and it's definitely got a lot of energy, got some of the best scenes in there. Um so I enjoyed it a lot with the music and everything. It was, yeah, incredible.
Yeah, I just like love, just yeah, you're right. Like really great scenes from all those movies. Like I love that. And I love all those scenes and like the way the Batmobiles are all incorporated in it too.
I
Like, you
got
got the
Vicky
best.
Vale in there. I love Vicky Vale, so yeah, I was really happy to see her.
So yeah, so you brought up Vicky Vale. I guess are you excited for Michael Keaton's big return in the Flash movie?
Oh, yes, I think that's the key thing there. Not that much is really exciting me to go see that movie except for that. Do want to see Michael Keaton. Want to see Batfleck one more time, and yeah, those are the two things that are gonna really drive a lot of people to the theater. There's some people just curious to see what Michael Keaton can do with Batman at this point. That I think that's one of the biggest highlights of the story. Um, and I hope they give him an honorable place in the story. I hope they don't mistreat his character.
Yeah, I hope not too. And see you, Trey. Yes, I know video editing
Oh,
is
yes, I'm
is
doing the same
hard.
thing right now. I'm editing
Well,
one of my videos right now too.
people don't realize that like the short form content is actually a lot harder than these live shows.
Oh yeah, it is. Because you have to come up with a really good um, reason for making the video, and have it have some value that people will be interested in it, and definitely. Oh, that's so sweet. The Bat Channel. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Mwah.
Thanks, Trey. And subscribe to the Bat channel, even if he is wrong
Yes.
about Obi-Wan.
Um, yeah, I definitely think that it can be very challenging to do more of the smaller snippets, or even like like an edited video of any kind. If you have to edit that video, oh my God, because you have to pull all of the different pieces together. If you have a long monologue, it can be very hard to match video with that as well, or pictures, or whatever you're trying to say. So, yeah, it is a lot of work editing in that way. But definitely live streams are so much easier because you just talk off the cuff and see what happens. And there are a lot of people who are just doing everything live stream, and then they're just chopping up their parts whenever they get a chance, and then they'll distribute that. And I haven't gotten that savvy just yet.
Yeah, same here. I've been kind of putting off. So, like, when I say Bat Dance Thoughts, there's two Bat Dance Thoughts. There's the channel Bat Dance Thoughts, and there's the show Bat Dance Thoughts, which is the shorter form content. I haven't done like a regular Back Dance Stocks show since February, just because I've been so busy with life and work and all
Yeah.
that other stuff, and it's just like, I want to get a show up, and I'm like, yeah, let's do a live stream, much easier. Just have a show up, get it up now. And then because am doing live streams, it gives me like a lot more excuses to put off the short form content.
Yeah. That's what's been really happening with me. I haven't actually done a video since November. That's 5 months. It's almost 6 months. So I need to start. I need to finish my video. So hopefully it'll be ready by next Sunday if I cross my fingers. But also too is it's getting all of the equipment working for you. I spent months just trying to figure out audio, and that was a big deal. Because my what I was using before stopped working, and so then I did all this research to find audio machines, and we're talking about hundreds of dollars, and I don't have that to spend, so it can be tough being a content creator, but it's fun too, because once you get that idea, that really juicy idea, you want to just run with it and make that epic video out of this incredible idea. We like making stuff, so it'll be, once you get that I it was killer, Necrot. It was very killer. Yeah, once you get that idea and the juices flowing for, a really juicy idea, you can't even go to sleep until it's done, you know. So that's what I like about it, is that if you get really, really inspired for something, it'll just be so much fun to put it together.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I am with my channel too. I have all these ideas that I have for my channel that I want to use to kind of grow and build my channel a lot more. And I get really excited about it. Like, another idea was like Batman's interviews. It's like coming, a new series that I do where I bring people on. Like I brought Skywalker on to talk about the Cell campaign. It's just like these different ideas that you have to make your channel grow.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
different topics I want to talk about. Star Wars. I have like so much to talk Star Wars right now. I have to do a video on the Ahsoka trailer. I still have to do my Bad Batch review. I got to do a video about just Grand Admiral Thrawn, because with the fact that
Oh,
they
I can't
revealed
wait
that
for that one.
yeah, and I'm excited. And what I'm trying to do is, because I'm going to be on vacation next week in Florida, I'm trying to get some videos pre-recorded and have them premiere while I'm in Florida to kind of keep my channel
Oh,
going while
good.
it's just finding the time before I leave to record these videos and editing
Yes.
them. And I got work, I got my band rehearsals. Only so much time in a day.
Oh, I didn't know you were in a band.
Yeah, I ended up in 2 bands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, basically, so like there's an overlap in like a lot of the same people in both the bands, and one person kind of aggressively recruited me into the other band.
Okay.
But yeah, but I enjoy it. It's something different. But point is, it is a lot of time that it's hard to find time to like record videos and then edit videos. And
Yeah.
I've been having issues with StreamYard working. I don't know how I'm appearing on your end, but I've had so many lagging issues and I've done like every fix imaginable, getting an Ethernet extension cable, getting rid of antivirus software to slow the computer down, moving the router closer, all these fixes, and it's still but you're right. It's like so many of these challenges.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, I have the same issue with my computer, and this is a special computer I'm on right now for streaming, and that's all that's on this computer. That's how I had to solve that problem, because if you have other programs with and sometimes it just will it doesn't matter if you have an Ethernet cable or not, which I went and bought, but it didn't help that computer and was cutting out on everything, which is embarrassing sometimes as you want to be able to, to have a good conversation without cutting out or having to leave a stream and then come back in. And not that it doesn't happen at all, but I think having just a separate computer all by itself helped, because I don't put anything on this computer, and it just seems that it's liking it. It's liking that.
Yeah, maybe that's what I need to try. Just oh my god, computers are so expensive though.
I know. Well, you could just do one for, I know, I mean, I'm just saying 200, or you can like spend up to 200, but I mean, you've got to put a lot. That's a lot of money to put aside. I know for some people it's not much, but um, it's a luxury buy sometimes if you have other responsibilities in your life. So
Yeah, and it's hard because this isn't a job for us. It's a hobby. Or some of these
yeah,
other people where it's like their job. They have a lot. It's easier for them to do stuff like that because that's their job. That's their business expense.
yeah, yeah. It's really hard to make a channel, a smaller channel become a business, um, in the beginning, unless if you've got like a service that you can provide outside of um, YouTube that's connected, then that's probably the only other way. But if you're doing it for a hobby and you're just like doing like nerddom stuff like we are doing, it can be. I spend like most of my like like money to do things on just putting it back into the hobbies, and that's like that can be really hard. Like if you want to go on vacation, or if you want to, if you need it for something else, or if something medical happens, you have to spend that money on the medical stuff. All right, you can't use it, if you need to get like prescriptions or something. You have to spend that money on the things that are keeping you alive. So you can't go buy a new computer if you have expenses and responsibilities that you need to take care of. But yeah, it can be a money pit, for the love of it. For just the love of it.
Yeah, and borderline financial situation, but that's kind of what it is. It's like I could try that. I could try to Google because I mean you're right. It's like it's just to have, and that's a good point too. Is that less programs means that it will run a lot better. So yeah, that's something else I need to look
Yeah,
into
you can
because
consider it. I mean, if you can save like 200 for a simple computer, or it would probably be good to spend at least three, when you consider the warranty, or yeah, the warranty. And it should be, if you don't have anything else on that computer, it would be fine. um but if you have other programs, like you have editing program on there, or Photoshop or other apps, it's going to keep crashing on you, because it's going to, especially Chrome, it'll just keep on doing other things while it's supposed to be taking care of while you're supposed to be just focusing on streaming. It'll be wanting to do other things. It's just a weird thing that happens if you have too many programs on a computer. Especially if you use that computer for things like editing. Because like my other computer over here, it's great for showing videos. It's great for editing. I have a lot of things on there, but when it came to streaming, it's sitting right next to this thing, the new computer. So it's definitely like a problem with, like, anytime I was streaming, it would cut out, it wouldn't hold the internet at all. Um, and I tried hooking up an Ethernet cable, that didn't work. So this one is completely free of all that. I don't even have to put in an Ethernet cable in this one. So that would be my suggestion, especially to anybody out there who's having that trouble anyway as well. Like, try just getting a computer if you can afford it. It is pricey. It is pricey to get yet another computer, and it can even look gluttonous if people come in your room and you've got like 2 or 3 computers set up. Like, why do you need 2 computers? But sometimes if you want to get, you have to, get extra things if things aren't working out one way, you've got to try a different way.
Yeah, well, my birthday's coming up soon. I can always just put it on my birthday wish list, like within a month,
Okay.
like end of
Yes, I
next
like
month.
that. Great idea. Great idea.
So yeah, have other people pay for it. So yeah, that's something I'll try. But because yeah, got just so much so much great content that I want to get out there. So many great discussions, so many interviews. So yeah, so lots of great stuff, lots of fun stuff to talk about. So and not fun stuff to talk about, like that last Mandalorian episode that was god awful.
Yes, it was a special episode. I'll say that in a nice way.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like I hate it because like I'm someone like I hate the fandom menace. I always despise the fandom menace because they blindly complain about everything Disney, no matter what, even if it's good. So that's why to me, when I see episodes like that, I'm like, stop giving the fandom menace fuel. Stop giving them fuel to say I hate Disney and F Disney.
Yes, I mean it was um I didn't understand what they were doing with that episode. There were some parts of it I had fun with it up until the very end, and the very end, then I was like angry at it, and I was like, "What's going on here?" I just shook my
Because it's
head,
like
and then
I wanted to see Mando step up as a leader. Like when I saw the trailer, they made it seem like Mando was stepping up because he has the dark saber. I wanted to see that, see
yes,
him grow. But
and even the posters, they have Mando with the dark saber. They spend some time training, with showing us Din training with the dark saber. And so it's like, okay, why waste our time with all of that if you're gonna just take it away from him? So that was disappointing, and I wanted to see Bo with Bo-Katan is not worthy. Well, I think she is worthy based on her past, but I think that her getting that sword that way was an insult to her character. She already got the sword in a very lame way the first time. So now we're doing it again. It just felt the words I use and many other people have used is anticlimactic, and also I feel like uh, just there was so much about this episode that just felt like it did not live up to the high standards we're expecting or we deserve from Star Wars. And look, we are just fans, and they are, they can make whatever story they want to make and give that to us. But at the same time, I do feel like we stuck in there we've stuck in there for the first season and second season, treat us with a little bit of respect, you know, treat us with a little bit of respect, and not give us a lame excuse and way, by technicality, to give us to exchange that sword. That was very, very, um it was disrespectful to everyone, the characters and the fans. So I from what I'm been hearing, they are planning on, um, having a movie that is going to completely wrap up the Mandalorian as, I suppose, as a character, and the Mandoverse they called it. So it just feels like, uh, you know, they've been putting out a lot of, uh, uh, differing, uh, comments out there. First, they were saying that, okay, um, Mando is, we can have a Mando show for the rest of our lives, and then the next, a few months later, they're saying, oh, we're gonna have a movie that's going to tie everything up, and it just feels like, they're not sure of what they're doing over there. That it's disorganized. They're trying to put it together, and you do see remnants of that, but it feels like, so many storylines are gonna converge together, and that's what they're working on, this convergence of storylines, that this movie, I suppose, might be something like an Avengers type thing, where everybody gets together to fight this one baddie, um, which would be interesting. It would be interesting. I'm not saying I'm not interested in that. I just say that this season really was not as good as any of the previous two seasons, and uh, and the quality has gone down. Now there's two more episodes to really shock us and really, give the fans what they want, which is a good story. And I'm crossing my fingers, but I'm trying not to also have too many expectations, because we've been disappointed before by Star Wars. So I'm like, please, please come through. It's just something that we're just gonna have to find out eventually, which kind of sucks. We should all be really hyped about this stuff, not like, oh, I hope they make it. You know, I hope this turns out well. Um, but it's a shame.
Well, here's my concern: is that okay? So this sounds like I'm changing the subject, but it's going to circle back. Did you ever watch Arrow?
No, no.
But basically, it was a really strong show the first two seasons, and then when they did the Flash, the Arrow kind of dipped in quality a little bit, because now they're focusing on two shows. Then they did Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl. The quality of the shows dip even more. And that's what I feel like is happening with Mandalorian, is that when they just kind of had Mandalorian, all their energy was put into that show, so it was a really good show. But now it's like they put energy in a Book of Boba Fett, where you had to watch that show for Mandalorian to make sense. And it's like they're building towards this Mandoverse movie, whatever. But basically, to me, what they're doing is they're putting quality or quantity over quality at this point. So they're doing all these shows at once, but as a result, the stuff is dipping in quality.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. And to me, you shouldn't have to watch all these other shows for it to make sense. Like, obviously, like the 6 movies is basic. You should have to watch those stuff. But like, I did never like that you had to watch Book of Boba Fett for Mandalorian season 3 to make sense. Especially a major plot line of getting Grogu to a Jedi. Like that was the whole show of seasons 1 and 2, and they undid it in another show. Like, it's stuff like that really bothers me, is that we have some of the greatest Star Wars moments in the wrong show. Like, Luke made
exactly.
like that was like a moment I wanted to see, but that never should have been in Book of Boba Fett. That should have been in, Mandalorian, even at least, because at least that felt like a Mandalorian episode still, even with that scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I mean, what it looks like to me, and this is just speculation, is that once after season one was so popular with people, they weren't expecting the Mandalorian to be successful at all. They didn't even have toys or any of that stuff ready. I remember in the beginning people were making their own baby Yodas, and it was really, they were out of their league when it came to the response for the Mandalorian. And I think at that point they began to think like, hey, we should involve some of the other storylines in the Mandalorian. And that's when we kind of got more of this like rebels slash like influence, and clone war influence into the story. And then I know a lot of people really loved the fact that Luke showed up at the end of season two. It really, I believe that the writers were in a corner when at the end of that show. They really did. I mean, and also they forgot to have they forgot to have Bo fight um Moff Gideon, and that she should have gotten the dark saber then. And so ever since they made that mistake, they've been trying to get that saber back to her. And I think that's what this whole season has been, getting that dark saber back to Bo-Katan. And it was done so awkwardly and so strangely, that it just feels like why did they not want to have Din and Bo fight each other?
Yeah.
What was the problem? They had everybody else fight each other. I mean, you had the Paz Vizsla fight Din. You had Bo fought other people. Like, what was so hard about those two characters fighting each other? And I don't know if it's because they really are building some sort of like romantic thing going on between them, or I'm trying to figure it out. It just blows my mind because I was like, it would have been so much better if if Bo had looked at Din and said, I thank you for a lot and your friendship, but I'm sorry, I have to fight you for this for this dark saber, and or I have to challenge you for the dark saber. And it just by her not being able to do that makes me think she's not really able to lead the Mandalorians like she oughta. She may have a lot of the skills, but that's a tough decision you're gonna have that she had to make, and she didn't make it. So that was terrible for her character, and it was terrible for Din because there was a reason why he didn't master the dark saber. And the whole point, I think, of showing us these characters, I felt, was to get us to see Din mature into wielding that dark saber like he was supposed to. That he had learned something about himself internally, and now he could master the thing that he was not able to do. But because they robbed him of that agency to do that, it's just like, okay, uh, you know, uh, all of these are crap characters now. It decreased their worth and their value, and so it's just been hard to support the what's going on forward. um And like I said, the next 2 episodes, they just have to be incredible. They have to be incredible in order for us to forget about the blunders of the last episode. Really, I mean, it's just astounding that this was, somebody said a green light, like, "Hey, we're gonna make all of the characters in this scene look stupid." Including the other Mandalorian standing around. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess so, well, he's right." It's like, "What?" This is the tough warrior race of people, the Mandalorians? No. Yeah, so it's been frustrating, but I'm because, season 1 was so great. I'm willing to hope that they will do something amazing in the last 2 episodes, and that's all I can do at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hoping that maybe the last episodes can do something that kind of make that last scene not feel so stupid. They can kind of retroactively make that episode better. But when season 2 ended, I thought what season 3 was going to be was like a civil war within the Mandalorians. I thought the whole season was going to be Din versus Bo. I wanted that season story arc, was to see Bo challenging Din Djarin, or how do you say it? Din Djarin?
Yeah, you got it.
Din Djarin, yeah. I wanted to see him fight him for the Darksaber. I wanted to see that conflict. And another mistake, I think, that season that was mostly made in Book of Boba Fett was bringing Grogu back. I thought that they were actually making a very brave choice to kind of say, we got rid of Grogu. He's on training with a Jedi, and that we're going to explore this other storyline now. And I feel like they brought Grogu back for one of 2 reasons. One, to the sequel trilogy, all the Jedi dying, and they didn't want to imply Grogu dying, and
Yes.
merchandise. I think merchandise is the biggest reason that Grogu is still in that show. He has served nothing to season 3. He is literally a background character, and that would be fine if he just stayed with Din Djarin. There was never a quest to get him to a Jedi, but the issue is they went out of their way to get him back, to the point of invading someone else's show to do it. So if you're going to do that, I need to feel, watching season 3, that we needed Grogu in the story. But all I really feel like is that Disney wanted the merchandise Grogu, so they had to bring him back. Grogu is never going to leave that show. That's not going to happen. Like, they'll kill off Din Djarin before they get rid of Grogu. Grogu is he is in that show permanently. And actually, I like what Sin says here. Sil can grift, I can grift too. Rules of the grift apply. Yes. Drive those likes up. If you're in the chat, drop a like.
Yeah, give him that like. I already did. I already gave a like.
Thank you. And
I did my part. I'm doing my part.
And that's what we do. We support each other in this. We support each other in this community. And I actually do have a goal now that this is brought up. My birthday is May 30th. Right now, the goal for my channel is to get my subscriber count up to 300 subscribers. I'm at 235 last I checked. So if you have not hit that subscribe button, hit subscribe. Lots of great stuff coming up. And especially if I do get that new computer, if I decide to splurge on that, we'll see. We'll see if I have a good content, upgraded streams, not crashing constantly.
Yeah. And if you're still having trouble, I mean, if you have that Ethernet cable, just hook it up to the new computer. If you don't have anything on there, it should work much better. Because like I said, I have these 2 computers right side by side, and it's like night and day when it comes to streaming.
Yeah, so I'll definitely try that out.
So when when you hit 300, are you going to do something special?
I don't know. I mean, so I actually had a goal where 100 was going to be when I did my first live stream, and then I did a show with Zodwriter, and after that, I went from like 88 subscribers to 200 something.
Wow.
So like that's why my goal is 300 now, because of how like that's all it takes. Sometimes it's just one show that to boost your stuff from 300 to from like a small number to a big number.
Yeah, yeah. Anything anything can happen. Um,
So I guess what are your overall thoughts on, since you said anything can happen, what are your overall thoughts on the cell movements that Skywalker created?
oh yeah, I think it's great. It's positive, and I love the new article that came out. It's very Skywalker did a fantastic job explaining everything, and of course, leaning away from anything negative and focusing on the positive. Um, it was great. It was fantastic. It's so far there. It's almost close to 1 million, right? So there's one more trending event coming up on Cavill's birthday, so I'm looking forward to that, and it's just doing great. I love it. I think it's also great because a lot of people who felt like they weren't able to participate on um the other hashtags have something now that they feel that's positive enough to join. um because there are a lot of negative hashtags that are out there, a lot of negative rhetoric that's going on out there against Warner Brothers, James Gunn, and I think this is very much like we're focusing on the fact that there are fans out there that want the Snyder um, continuation of DC films, and that's powerful. Eh, that's all that needs to be said. No, we don't need to put anybody down. We don't have to call any names. We don't have to call for people to lose their jobs. It's like that's the goal, and it's very focused. I love that. I love that. I love all of those things. So yes, this is the way.
Yeah.
And as long as people are just continuing to keep things positive, as positive as they can. I understand being angry at certain things and being upset, and that's we can being human beings, of course, but I think also when we can just continue to do things as positively as possible. Then there's very little people can be upset at you for being positive. I mean, that's fine, but
Some
that it's
people are.
yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Just keep going is all I have to say. Just keep your positivity up high, be kind, and focus in what matters. What really matters is that if Zach wants to continue his legacy storytelling, I think he should be given the opportunity to do so. And this is a great way to do it. If he's at Netflix, and he has a lot of stuff going on Netflix. So if he does, get the green light to do something at Netflix, it will be a while. And as fans, we've got to be, we've got to understand that it's going to take a little while before, I mean, quite a bit of time before he can do anything, because he's got to get through some of the things that he's already got planned out with Netflix first. um, and he's got a lot on his plate. But if he says that he still wants to, and he can, and the rights are handed over to Netflix to do this, it will be wonderful. It'll be wonderful. I mean, look, it took what 35 years before Blade Runner got a sequel. It's okay. We we're fans. We can wait, and it's going to be awesome if it happens. So I think it's we can think of it as, it's taking just that long for Darkseid to make his way to planet Earth. In the meantime, if we want to look at it that way. And I think if we're continuing to let the universe know that we want this content, it, at least, whoever is in charge of making that happen on any in any studio in any capacity, they'll say, hey, look, people never forgot about this awesome content over here. There are fans that want it. Let's give it to them. So I don't think there's anything wrong letting your voice be heard, to be to be counted as individuals that want this to happen, that want Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, and perhaps 1 or 2 more movies connected to that universe. I can't see anything wrong with that. Not if Zach came out and says, like, I'm done, I don't want to. He has not said that yet.
Yeah, he's encouraged it. He's liked articles.
Yeah, he has not said that yet, and he has been, very trepidatious to say, outright, completely admonish the idea. I mean, in fact, he said it would be amazing. And so it's if it did happen. So I think I'm trying to gauge, like, what I really would love to hear more from Zach on this. Just a little bit more information from him. And I know that there's limited amount of information he can talk about because he has a job. He has a job with Netflix. He has to be very respectful of his work with them at this point. So there's things that he can't say. But we can still root for that, for his possible work on Justice League 1 and 2. I'm sorry, 2 and 3. We can still root for that. We can still say that we'd like to see that. We can also still say that we'd like to see the Ayer cut. That's still something that fans can do and should do if they're interested in doing it. If you're not interested in doing it, just ignore it. It's actually on Twitter, there are ways to block certain hashtags so you don't see them. There's certain ways to block individuals who are talking about things you don't like to hear about. So I think it's very important for us to dive more into things we really like and just not pay attention to the things we don't want like. And so if the Cell hashtag is not for you, you can mute it on Twitter, and it's not going to affect you anyway, either which way. You won't see the hashtag. And if so, what are the things that you love? Do you love Dawn of the Dead, or do you like Army of Darkness, or like what movies do you love? And dive deeper into that. That's another reason why I started my channel, was because I heard so many channels that were making fun of movies in a negative way. They were just like, movies like Willow and like The Dark Crystal, and they just did not like those movies and made fun of them. And so I was like, wow, I'd like to be the person who writes a review about how much they love this piece of content and what it meant to them. And so that's how I started doing videos actually, was to make sure to dive deep into the things I love. And I just would love more content creators to do that. Like if you love the Scream movies, go dive deep into it. Like tonight we talked about Star Wars. And yes, there are certain things we don't enjoy about Star Wars, but we're in Star Wars. We love it. And the things that we love about Star Wars, I mean, for myself personally, what is the fantasy? I love the fantasy of Star Wars. And of course, that first season of Mandalorian was great. It was so great. After I was done watching that season, I was like, wow, I couldn't wait for more. And I wanted exactly more of that. I didn't want more of something else. So going into the other seasons, I was expecting just that. I was expecting more of the first season. And so, yeah, I mean, I love having discussions like this. This is, great. I'm so glad that you invited me on tonight.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you on. I'm trying to figure out ways to get all these people onto my channel, and it's like have to think of like kind of like the perfect topic. And this was kind of, I mean, I'll be honest, this stream was very improv. It was literally, I was like, hey, no one's streaming tonight. I got to get this intro shown. Let's send the link out to everyone and see who can show up. So I was really glad you came because this was so last minute.
Oh yeah, luckily I took a break for a few minutes, and when I saw you were live, I was like, oh, I can't. I was really glad I caught it because sometimes I'll miss streams, and just very glad to be here to support you in this wonderful reveal of your intro, and I hope that we see many more streams from you.
Thank you. And I just I love having all these different people on because it's I bounce better off with other people, and I loved everything you just kind of said right there, and
Thank you.
I'm the same sentiments. Like, here's an example I love to say is that, Legends of Tomorrow, there's like a whole campaign to save that show. I thought that show went off the rails after season 3. I thought the show is absolute garbage. But I've never once shitted on the campaign to save it. I'm like, people want to see a conclusion to their story. I respect it. I just don't hashtag it. Simple as that. I let them do their thing, though, because I think people don't seem to understand this basic thing. If you don't want something, you don't have to watch it. I don't personally want James Gunn's Superman movie, and I'm probably just not going to watch it, or at least not in theaters, because it's not a movie I'm interested in. With everything I'm hearing about this and seeing Gunn's style, not interested. But and that's just the thing, guys. If you don't want to watch something, just don't watch it. It's like this annoying thing where people talk about boycotting something, but here's my thing with boycotts. The silent boycotts work the best because when you bring attention to something, more people want to see it. Because you know how Joker made $1 billion and there was all this controversy surrounding it and people were trying to boycott the movie? Ironically, I think that's why that film made $1 billion, was because everyone was saying, don't see this movie, don't see this movie, don't see this movie. But basically what happened is everyone saw the movie. And I think it was because, again, this is my personal theory. This is not confirmed fact, but I think it was because of that controversy and all the people calling to boycott that movie that people went to see it. So when people are saying, boycott Blue Beetle, boycott The Flash, boycott Aquaman 2, I'm like, just don't see it yourself. Don't. And it's just, you're just drawing more attention to the boycott. And that's just one thing. And I agree. That's why I love the Sun movement, because something Skywalker said in that article really was a highlight, was talking about Gunn's movie being judged on its own merit. And that's a really good point, is that here's the thing. It's like Gunn hates the Cell campaign, but in my opinion, this is probably one of the best things for him, because people will actually give his Superman movie a chance if Henry Cavill gets his proper closure. Because here's the thing. No matter what, people are going to compare Gunn's movie to Man of Steel, to Batman v Superman, to Zack Snyder's Justice League. If you don't want comparison, well, that ship has sailed. Unless you're going to erase our memories of the other movies, it's going to happen. The only thing that's really going to change is that we're at least going to see a conclusion to what we love here, so we can just give this film a chance and just, as Sky said, judge it on its own merits. If I hate Superman Legacy, I want it to be because the film was just bad, not because I'm mad at what happened with Henry Cavill. So that's why I think Netflix should do Man of Steel 2, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. And something you kind of said, Retro, with Zack Snyder being busy, that adds more incentive for Netflix to do these smaller projects that don't necessarily need Zack Snyder to direct, like The Air Cut. You don't need Zack Snyder for that. Man of Steel 2 is going to have Andy Muschietti direct it. So if they could get him, if Netflix could buy the rights to that film and get Andy Muschietti, they could kind of do that while Zack Snyder works on his other projects, works on Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon. They could do the Batfleck movie. And they could do that as well. So there's so many different possibilities. And no problem, Austin. We all know we get great work with editing from this intro. So keep doing what you're doing. Lots of great, focus on the editing because you do a great job with it. And I know you got a lot of people waiting on you, so totally understand. Life is just so freaking busy sometimes. But that's the point, though, is that there's so many different possibilities of what can happen, too. So even if we can't get Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 right away, we can still get some of these other projects. Like, we were worried about having too many Batman movies at once, but it was so funny because I was worried about not getting the Batfleck movie with Ben Affleck directing for James Gunn's DC, especially if he directs that Batman Brave and the Bold movie. But now that's out the window right now. Now that Ben Affleck's no longer said that absolutely not directing for James Gunn, so just saying, we could get his Batman movie on Netflix.
Well, I mean, as far as, when you look at Ben Affleck, he's got a lot of movies that he wants to do, that he wants to work on and wants to be in. And he's such a great talent to stifle on, on just Batman. And I definitely want to see him do the Batman movie that he wanted to do, but I'm also interested in seeing the other projects he wants to do. I mean,
Hypnotic, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi movie. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm in. And also, there's he's been doing stuff where he's been wearing costumes where he looks different. So I don't know. I just have this funny feeling like his best work yet is we need to unleash him. Let him out of his, let him do something incredible. And maybe later he'll want to come back to, feel the passion for it again to want to do Batman and fight for it. But I think he sees, the drawing on the board as far as with Warner Brothers, that it's just a different flavor altogether. And the kind of flavor that they're developing is really more of a fun kind of thing. And I really feel as if I don't know if it's going to work, but I might not be able to see everything that comes out on from the new DC. But I am curious about Swamp Thing of all of them. That's the one I'm the most interested in.
Yeah, I'd say that one too for me, because even though it's in the DCU, I don't think it's necessarily as connected to James Gunn's DCU. Like, I'll be honest, I'm mostly interested in Elseworlds at this point, because I think that's going to be the strongest
Elseworlds, yeah.
DC, especially I'm
Elseworlds.
excited for Joker 2. The Batman 2, the first one I had such mixed feelings on. I'm hoping the second one I think has potential to be better if Matt Reeves takes some of the stuff that didn't work in the first movie and learns
Yeah.
from it. And I think Batman 2 has potential to be a good movie. So as long as Matt Reeves is willing to take criticism and learn,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
And maybe at that point we'll be so starved for Batman anything that we're just like, okay, it's Batman. Because that happens sometimes. It's like, oh my God, we need some Batman infusions here right now. And look, I think the thing that really wasn't it for me with the Batman and that or Patterson's version of Batman, I just felt he looked a little too young for me to be Batman, a little too juvenile. Um, and I thought that he would have made a great like Nightwing. Just his body type and his the design too of the costume. But maybe he'll be a little bit older. He'll be a little bit older, and getting older kind of fills you out a little bit more. And so I think it will be how many years? Maybe when the next Batman Elseworld comes out, maybe it would have been like
2025, I think.
5 years. That's enough for him to
Or
grow into the character more. So I think there can be a possibility that this version of Batman will be a little bit more grizzled, a little bit more um feel like more of a man, a Batman, uh, if you will. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to see it was that I just didn't enjoy. I think Patterson is a good-looking person, and he's great looking, and he's a great actor. We've seen him do some incredible things as an actor, but I had a hard time believing him as Batman. And I have yet to see the movie. I mean, that's the first step, right? Getting the customer in the door. And so I suppose eventually I will see the movie. But I just at the same time, again, it's hard for me to imagine him as a Batman. He's more of a youngster to me in this movie. So like I said, in 5 years that that will have passed by the time we get the Batman 2, he may have grown a little bit more huskier, a little bit more into a little thicker and feel a little bit more like the character I'm imagining in my head. Just saying. So I'm willing to give it a chance. The bad guy, I believe, is supposed to be Clayface, and
yeah,
I'm not very familiar with that character. Oh, the same exact thing as in Havoc. Yes.
yeah. Well, he's a shapeshifter, so I'm wondering how that's going to work in Matt Reeves' world. I'm hope. See, this is my concern: is that he's talking about out Nolan, but I would love her to see Matt Reeves to say, you know what? Batman has some sci-fi villains. Let's introduce the sci-fi elements in Batman's world. Because Batman is not, like, even if you take out the rest of the DC universe, Batman is not grounded. He has Clayface, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, all
Yes.
these villains that are supernatural, sci-fi, and I want to see that. We have the grounded, realistic Batman, and maybe if he doesn't worry so much about trying to out Nolan and focus on his story, maybe we could actually have something better. I want to see Matt Reeves. I don't want to see Matt Reeves try to out Nolan. I want to see Matt Reeves try to out Reeves himself. I want to see him do. I want to see Matt Reeves do Reeves, not try to do Nolan. Focus on his unique Batman, and that's
I think
that's something different.
yeah, I think that given that there's some time between the two movies, he would have had some time to think about what worked and what didn't work, and why there's some fans that just loved it. They were like, oh, this is wonderful. It's the detective noir that I've been dying for. And some people were kind of like, this is really a lot slower paced. So maybe it will be able to pick up the pace a little. That was one thing that was a big complaint, was the pacing. That there were less times of people walking, walking and walking and walking, instead of, like, giving us those action moments that we're wanting to see Batman perform. And I did see some really interesting action scenes as well. So I think that could be something that he might be. And I hope he is looking at those things and making some changes there. He seems like a nice guy, to be honest. I think, when he was saying that, it's we sometimes joke around and goof around, and I maybe he didn't realize he was going to offend anyone by saying that, but and it was a very interesting statement to say that. But now that he's had time to digest his own movie, uh, maybe he may make some changes, especially with the pacing. Maybe not have it like 3 hours, shorten it up. And if it is going to be 3 hours, make it the most exciting 3 hours we've ever had, right? I mean, like, who minds sitting, for 3 hours if you're going to be electrified the entire time?
BVS
So
Ultimate Edition.
yeah, yeah. And that was 4 hours, and it
Oh, the
was
Snyder Cut was 4 hours. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was 4 hours, and it was delightful. Um, and even the slow parts were exciting. So, yes, I mean, that is a big issue that I um, have been seeing over and over and over again with the complaints about the movie by really, really good critics, by incredibly intelligent people, about even people who love the movie, but this was the underlying issue, that was the killer, was the pacing. And so it's if he can work on that, and also deliver a good story plot. There may be a twisty way that they can, like, work around the Clayface thing not being a supernatural thing, but just somebody who's talented at, um, making different looks, sort of like the Mission Impossible, like having different faces. Even Darkman did something like this, where where he was able to pretend to be other people. Um, but as well, if he did introduce the supernatural, that would open up a whole nother level uh, of to bring more DC into this particular universe, or the Black Label content right there. Like, that would open up his universe if he would just say, "Wow, we're finding out that there are a lot of people in that are now supernatural beings, they, and just trying to figure that out as a writer could be fun. It could be really a lot of fun, to take this world that's really grounded and turn it into more supernatural world. I don't know if the fans will like it. I don't know if that will work, but if Clayface is the one that they're picking, I wonder how he's going to pull that off? Is he going to do it more like a Mission Impossible, or is he going to make it a supernatural thing?
I kind of hope they go the sci-fi route. I don't want to see I want to see him be his actual villain. And there's something you said I kind of want to highlight, like too. You're talking about like pacing, and here's why I think the Snyder Cut and Batman v Superman could be longer. Is that they had more than one lead. The Batman, like Zack Snyder, made Man of Steel 2.5 hours because there was only one lead, Superman. BVS, you had Superman and Batman. You had more leads, so you needed a bit of a longer runtime. The Snyder Cut had more leads. You had 6, so you needed a longer runtime. So whereas the Batman only had 1, so I think that's one thing that hurt the pacing too, is you have this one character mostly that you're focusing on. Everyone else is a supporting character.
Oh yeah.
So that hurt the pacing too. And I do think and you're right, it would bringing in the supernatural would open up the world more. And even if Matt Reeves wants to stick with Batman and not going to like Superman and Wonder Woman, there's still a lot of great Batman characters that he can bring in, or Batman related characters like Zatanna, who I think is from Gotham City.
Oh.
So there's lots of great stuff Zatanna, she's from Gotham. She was in Batman the Animated Series, which was mostly just sticking with the Batman part of the DC universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think they can. I was wondering why they didn't pick Bane, and maybe he didn't pick Bane because Bane was used in the Nolan films. So, but Bane can be very, very grounded, can he?
Was it Nolan's?
Yeah, yeah, and I think it was a huge mistake for him to put out that extra deleted scene out there of the Joker, because he should have nested on that just a little bit more, because and really think about how he wanted to present the Joker, because I think that presentation of the Joker was very rough on the eyes. A lot of people just was grossed out by the whole thing, and didn't really it didn't go over very well, that deleted scene with Joker, and I don't know, like, if he had stewed on it just a little bit more, and then introduced the Joker, I think it would have been, he could have thought about how he wanted him to look, and just give it a little bit more thought. Even test it out, because I don't think it was it even tested. Screen test that sucker, because the way he looked, people were really turned off after that.
Well, kind of what I wish, actually, with you saying that, is I wish they actually now didn't show his scene at the end of the Batman, because if they just showed the deleted scene, deleted scenes aren't canon. So at least then he could have actually used, that could have been the test reaction. He could have said, okay, audiences don't like this. Let's use that to improve. And I know this is kind of a controversial thing to say, but I do think this trilogy needs the Joker at some point. Not right away, but you got to have the Joker be in the franchise at some point. It doesn't have to be right away. You can show other villains, but at some point, Joker does need to be in there. It just wouldn't feel like a Batman franchise without it. So, and maybe they still can improve on that. It was only a few seconds we really saw him in the Batman in the actual cut of the film, and maybe he can kind of take what worked and what didn't work and can kind of improve that a little bit. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a chance they can save it. I mean, I thought that it would have been a natural response to have the Joker in this, and Joker in the Batman too, because he's such an iconic villain for the Batman, or Batman in general. bring him, bring him in there and mix it up with him, as early as possible. But it kind of looks like he was already captured, and
Yeah, that's an issue I had too. Is that he was?
and it's
I
like,
wanted to see the
where?
first meeting.
Yes, I want to see all that. I want to see, and so there's a lot about this version of the characters in the Batman world that's just a little off for me. And it's not attracting me, is what I'm saying. And I'm not, I don't speak for everyone, but I think they could have made better sales in the at the box office if they were able to just crack the code. They were able to crack the code. They weren't quite able to crack the code on Batman, but a lot of people did enjoy that movie, and I am so happy it was pleasing to them. And I can't wait to, I want to be able to see it one day, to be able to really dive into all of the details. You know, it looks like it's going to be a good movie. I just didn't feel it was going to be great. And again, that's why I'm still on the outside of the customer wall. I'm not quite a customer yet. I'm still looking at the trailer. I'm still looking at the things and still not attracted to it yet. And I think that's what movie making is really, and all, this whole talk about movies is getting people to go buy tickets and see the movie, right? That's the customer wall. If you're able to break that customer wall and get them to walk through and pay for a ticket, or buy a video, you're that's saying a lot. That's where the real measure for success is, um, in that department. And you have a movie like Super Mario Brothers that the critics hated, but customers are walking through that door, and they're spending a lot of money seeing that movie. And so, and that is including like any toys and additional games, additional products, all of that stuff. People are just loving it. And it's about cracking that code to get the customer through that paywall.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and just find its right audience, because right now the DC audience is very divided right now, which is why I think this kind of
Unfortunately.
Elseworlds approach works really well, is to kind of capture all the DC audience, and that's one thing that with Cell you can do, is get that aspect of the DC fan satisfied. Give Matt Reeves fan their universe, give the Snyder fans their universe, and Gunn may have his own fans and give them their closure too. It's just, there's a way that they can use it to make everyone happy. This is something that can be done, and that's why, again, this Cell aspect will work really well, and I'm really excited for it. And again, I hope I can enjoy the Batman franchise more. Just again, as long as Matt Reeves can learn, I think there's a lot of great stuff we have to look forward to. I believe in Sky's campaign. I'm excited for SnyderCon, and hopefully Star Wars can get better too. Do you have
Hope
anything
so.
coming up on your channel? Now's the time to let me just wrap you up.
Well, on Wednesday mornings, I will be doing a little review of The Mandalorian, the next episode, and I'll be talking about some current event news. On Friday, I will be talking about the cartoons of our childhood, and that will start at 3 p.m. Well, actually, you'll have to check for the time, because depending on where you live, the times will be different. On Saturday, I will have a watch party for Flash Gordon 1980. Flash! Ah! And that is going to be a lot of fun. I believe on Sunday I will finally release my next video, which will be a review of the movie Willow, 1988.
Great. And subscribe to looking forward to it. And subscribe to Retro Nerd Girl.
Thank you.
Put her link in the description in post-production. So check that out. I don't have much coming up. I will be heading to Florida for a little fun vacation on Friday and be gone and won't be back till not next Sunday, but the Sunday after. So I'll try to get some of those Star Wars videos I want to talk about. I'll try to get those recorded and even have them premiere the week I'm gone. So you'll still get Bat Dan even when I'm on vacation. So be on the lookout for that. A lot of great stuff to look forward to. And subscribe to Retro Nerd Girl. And if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode. And normally I'm not going to play this as my outro, but this one time I will. So enjoy the intro. And lastly, have a bat-tastic day.
She's fading. We gotta go. I'll get my car.
What mine?
Yours.
I gotta get me one of those.